Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Hope you can see me and hear me properly. Let me know if you are here live, if I'm not coming in loud and clear, if it sounds weird. I did a test on my microphone just before I started, and luckily I did because it sounded all robot-y and it was breaking up. There was some sort of interference. I restarted my audio system and it worked fine. So let me know if it's not working. Hi to the regulars, Big Ol, Barbarian across, Adam Super AC. How are you guys? Okay, let's get right into this. This is a good one because I didn't really need to prepare a talk as much as I asked the question. Earlier in the week, I made a post, made it not broad, but very personal. So people don't get lost in talking about the world and the government and saving the whales and the environment and whatever else problem that everyone knows may exist out there, but in your own life, which I think is at the heart of where people can make the biggest advances and changes and make their life content and happy. Complaining about things that you have no power over, while big and important and, it's good to be informed about, is not really moving the needle very, very much at all. Am I a little bit too high? There we go. I think that's better. Anyway, for anyone interested, hi Peg, Rocket, how are you guys? Good to see you back. If anyone's interested, let's see. Yeah, this is the gear I'm using today, in case anyone's interested. And today we're going to talk about what bothers you personally, because that is the thing that I primarily talk about. In case you're new here, my channel is always concerned with the personal. How you fix your own life, how you organize yourself, how you think, how you speak, how you stop buying into the BS, just general basic life stuff that makes sense. And the world is getting very, very unnecessarily complicated online. Everyone's acting smarter than they actually are. They're not going after the easy solutions that their fathers and grandfathers and everyone before them went for. They think they're very clever and they're going for these sophisticated solutions today, ideas that they just make up that don't actually work. Mostly because people don't try it. People are just complaining and talking about theories online. So, let me have a sip of decaf. I've omitted caffeine from my diet for, I would say, a week now. And there are a lot of benefits I found. Because I've been a pretty heavy coffee drinker. And by heavy, I mean between 4 to 7 or 8 coffees a day. And that's a lot. And then I noticed I wasn't sure if when I had less I had headaches or if I had too much I had headaches, but I was getting a lot of headaches. And it wasn't the pounding headache. It was the constant pressure behind the eyes, like low-level irritation behind the eyes. And I noticed the moment I had a coffee, it would go away within half an hour. So I think it was the overconsumption of coffee. I suffered a day or two with headaches, and I've been having decaf, and I haven't been drinking coffee at all. I've just been having other stuff. And it's been pretty good. I'll keep you informed if anyone else is interested. But also there's been, I've noticed a little bit of a shift in mental clarity. Not that coffee doesn't keep you sharp, but you're consistently on the same level of sharpness or for longer without coffee, without caffeine. So in another way of saying it, coffee doesn't control your mood or your mental clarity as much, I found. But anyway. All right. As usual, if anyone during this stream, and please, I encourage people to ask questions on this topic, because this question during the week that I left this question, what bothers you personally, not politically? And I would really encourage those of you here live, if you have something to offer, to put 3 smiley faces, colorful emojis, but let's just say smiley faces, before your question or comment to me during this stream so I can read it and we can start having a discussion more than you just listening to me yap, which I don't mind. And I know a lot of times the topic might be very esoteric and I'm very passionate about it and you guys are just happy to sit there with your popcorn while I flap my lips. But I really think that some interesting perspectives of what actually bothers you personally in your day-to-day, whether it's usually with people, but it could be on your own. Things you worry about, things that, you know, how your neighborhood's changing, what you're trying to do, maybe it's move, or what you're trying to do in terms of getting healthy, just whatever bothers you that either you feel like you can't fix or you just can't pull the trigger on, let me know during the stream, sorry. And just put 3 smiley faces before your comment like this example below. And what I will do is I'm going to start off by just reading out some of these. Let's start out. Let's zoom in a bit. I wrote, what actually bothers you? Not in the news, not what you're supposed to be outraged by, but the personal stuff, the quiet, frustrating parts of everyday life that build up, the moments where you feel out of place, around friends, misunderstood by family, unsure of your direction in life, or just quietly drowning in loneliness even when everything looks fine. So let's read some of the comments. While you guys in the stream, if you got any comments, please drop them during the stream. Hey, Space Cowboy. You're so sleepy. What time is it in the US now? It's late, isn't it? It'd be about 10, I think. All right. Rafash says, what really frustrates me is that even with so much knowledge available, online books, films, documentaries, people still choose to ignore it and base their opinions and decisions on shallow phrases or random gut feelings with no connection to reality. We're supposed to be living in the information age, but it feels like we're moving backwards fast. It's the 21st century and I still have to explain something as basic as the difference between shyness and introversion. Well, yeah, people are just used to flying by information. The quicker you look at something and don't sit and absorb it, the less you retain it. You don't absorb anything. I feel like my glasses can't be bothered cleaning them. So I'll grab this pair. Also, in case anyone cares, what looks better in your opinion? This one? This cap? Or this cap? I like them both, and they suit the color and theme of my channel. But there'll be some of you that are biased with STP if you're mechanics or come from an older generation. But let me know which one you prefer. Anyway, why is it? See, I've got to do the backwards thing. I've got to adjust the opposite end of what I think is. Yeah, fuck off. All right. Yeah, back to this comment from Rafash. He says, one thing that stuck out to me, people still choose to ignore it, base their opinions and decisions on shallow phrases and random gut feelings. Yeah, everyone, I've noticed that when you talk to people, they get their information from memes and little 15-second reels that they've seen. And that becomes reality and truth to them. That becomes knowledge. And most of the time it's just people's opinions. And now it's even less credible with AI. But people are just repeating it. And that's the way it is. And I think the younger generation don't care if it's real or not. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen that clip of Keanu Reeves sitting with his co-star from The Matrix now. And he's talking about when he was chatting to a young girl at a dinner party. And he explained to her The Matrix because she hadn't seen the movie. and he explained that there was reality, the real world and the fake world. And the little girl said, like, I'd rather live in the fake world. I don't care if it's real. And he said, really? You don't care if it's real? She goes, no. And so I think people don't care if things are real. They would rather belong to a set of information that has a lot of people following it, a lot of cool people following it. Look at all these sexy, cool people. It's popular over there. I like them. I like the way they talk. You might like them because they're antagonistic. There's a lot of drama, whereas something else like literature or science or something's fairly boring to you. So I think people will gravitate towards what's more entertaining and socially more interesting and feels like it connects with them in a much more fun way, and justify it logically, even intellectually, because you can justify anything intelligently, and you'll do it from that position. So unfortunately, it'll probably get worse. The struggle today, I think, is psychologically to fight for what is right, not for everyone else, but because it makes your life better. And the more of us that do that as individuals, on aggregate, that beautiful virus spreads out and we all have better lives. We affect everyone else and the world gets better. I sound like some woo-woo Oprah kind of vision board, but I think I always go on about personal stuff, like, you know, being someone that you're proud of, doing the thing you know is right, instead of saying what is right in the comment section, like a troll, or on Discord chats, and then in your life, you go back to acting like the same teenager or 5-year-old that you always have, and then come back and say, well, it's not fair, it's human nature, it's the system. It's like, no, but what do you know to be right? Because I noticed that a lot of us will point to other people, guys especially when they're dating, they'll point to all the immoral acts and the ways that women behave, and I'll agree with you. But then when you try and flip it back and say, well, you have to behave in a moral way yourself. And then it's like, well, no, I'm perfect. Men are men. It's biology. I'm designed to do that. I'm designed to be that way. It's like, well, maybe women are designed. No, they should be moral. They should be more moral. So you want women to be adults and you can just be a child. Okay. Have fun. But yeah, good comment, Rafa. Let's go to the comment section here. Remember, if I don't read your comment or question, it's not because I'm ignoring you during the stream. It's because you're not adding 3 emojis like a cross just did. He says, this is going to sound childish, but it does bother me that I can't fix drivers not using their bloody blinkers, and that I also can't fix unwarranted rudeness and lack of civility from people around. Yeah, that's one thing I've actually, in a small way, proud of myself. Boffin and Carl will attest to my road rage and my mild racism on the road when I see certain people acting in typically stupid ways while they're driving. But I do my best, and this is something I have actually gotten good at, is now, I would say 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10, when I see a driver trying to push in, I never get annoyed now. I've trained myself to go, no, go in, because I never see anyone else doing it. I see so many people not letting others in, and it pisses me off when I see it from a distance. And then I say, hang on, I used to do that too. Now I make an effort that whenever someone, as long as they're not pushy and an arsehole, like some young guy in a hotted up BMW, or you could tell someone who drives rudely and they got money and they think they've got a lot of power and ego and they try and just push in really quickly, that's different. But if someone's just gradually trying to merge in and they've done nothing wrong, I think, well, I want more people to let other people in. I would like to be let in if I was stuck there. So I've done that in traffic. My wife of over 25 years died 2 weeks ago at 61. I'm 58 and really cannot imagine me starting another relationship ever in the future. Everything feels totally messed up. Condolences, first of all, and second, you're correct. The older you get, the harder it gets. And you can't pretend to just want anything just for a simulacra of companionship that will never be the same as the thing you're used to. It just won't. I mean, it's hard enough when people have a dog that dies, right? And I'm not equating your deceased ex-wife to a dog. I'm saying it's hard enough when dogs only live for, 10 to 15 years or whatever if you're lucky. And it's heartbreaking, and a lot of people can't bring themselves to get another dog, right? Imagine that same love and bond with a person your whole life. And then everyone around you saying, come on, man, get out there. Find love again. Why? I completely understand people when they said, like, no, I already had someone I loved. I don't need it anymore. And it's when people get pushy, when they're not listening to you. If you're lonely, I get it. You're in this position, your partner passed away or whatever, and you feel broken up, you feel lonely, you have no one to talk to. You would like to, but you can't. You can't stop thinking about your ex and stuff. That's different. But if the person's telling you, I'm grieving for my lost partner and I don't want anyone else, but it's a natural grief, and I'm fine now relaxing into a different chapter of my life where it's just about me and the fond memories of my ex-wife or past wife. Belle likes the STP cap. All right, it's the first one I've got. Yeah, everyone likes the dark one better. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just like the coloring of this one for some reason. I really like the coloring, but whatever. I don't mind this one either. I like the old brand. You know, it's the old kind of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, STP, Castrol. What is it? Heinz. All those really cool ones that have still endured to today. Let's read some more. Aldo says, it's ironic that I find gossip and trash reality TV to be to be tedious to watch. Learning, on the other hand, history, science, philosophy, and such I enjoy. Yeah, that's really interesting. The people that love watching drama usually have a lot of drama in their lives. There's very few people that love watching drama and they really can enjoy it, but know the difference between entertainment and reality. For instance, Stephanie, my wife, she loves watching that kind of trashy reality TV, but she never wants it in her own life. It might be a female thing, but she just loves watching it. Whereas for me, and I know there are some guys, they love watching Survivor and some other reality TV shows that are maybe more aligned with men's sensibilities of competition and hierarchy and things like that, not just bullshit chick drama. So, but I can't even watch those. And I have people in my life that love watching those shows, and they can tell me, oh, it's about watching the social dynamic of competition and hierarchy and people manipulating each other. I love it from an anthropological kind of observational point of view. It's really interesting in human social dynamics. And I say, yeah, I get it, but I still can't watch it because all I watch are scenarios of manipulation in the workplace, in the offices I used to work in, corporate and things like that in the past, that I just could not tolerate. The amount of stress it gives me, there's no amount of entertaining drama that can compensate for the amount of stress that it gave me. So yeah, I'm with you. I can't really watch it for much. Sometimes I can watch a clip. Stephanie shows me, look at this clip, look at this dumb bitch or something, and you know it's funny. But I really can't. It's not anything I swipe left on that on Netflix or anything. It's just, no, get it away from me. Get it away from me. That and what is it? There's a few shows. As soon as I see the covers of the series, it's like, nah, like Reality Housewives. Yeah, just a whole bunch of them. Anyway. Hi to some people I haven't seen in a while. Robbie, Alonzo, how are you? Space Cowboy says, I think boomers, Gen X, and millennials are just as bad or even worse when it comes to avoiding reality or wanting to live in the matrix. People 30 and up who never matured. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just take a look at the comments section of me about a year. Where was it? A year and a half ago or so when I announced I was married. And yeah, the majority are young guys, childish. Okay, you can give them a pass. But there are some older guys. There are some guys my age and beyond that really don't like me because I don't believe in the male female thing as this big war conspiracy theory. Like, yes, the government favors women and all this, but they really kind of are in this Matrix video game world where it's this real battle. And if I'm not on their side, then I'm against them. And this is a very tribal thing, and I really can't, I don't get it. I don't get as you mature that you can't see things from different points of view. Remember, and I've said this a few times, a marker, a very big marker of intelligence is the ability to hold an opposing thought without actually internalizing it. So you can listen to other people, you can step outside your own biases and listen to someone else give you their rational point of view. You don't necessarily need to be religious about it. And I know a lot of these people find comfort in the religion of whatever the pocket of their self-help, male or female world is, whether it's feminism or any part of the manosphere that's a bit extreme. But I'll talk to anyone as long as they're rational. But yeah, kooks, no. Zealots, no. Thanks, Space Cowboy. Thanks for the super chat. If you want me to read your comment, guaranteed, as long as it's civil, drop a super chat like Space Cowboy just generously did, and I'll read your comment out. He says, the reason you can't, it's because on some level, if you consume reality, you start to develop a personal relationship with it. If you consume reality, you start to, yeah. The reason you can't, or you're saying the reason they can't, or people who don't want to consume reality. Once you start, yeah, once you actually touch, see, you can't unsee. I think a lot of people do that in a lot of ways where they just love their addictions too. I remember once, the only time actually I dated a woman who was significantly older than me. I think I was 33 and she was 40. She was a very hot 40-year-old, and it wasn't anything serious. Neither of us knew it wasn't anything serious. It was a little bit of fun in between relationships, you know, serious relationships. She just come out of one, and so did I. Not, you know what I mean. Not recently. Enough time had gone, and we were just out there again and just enjoying ourselves. And I remember her telling me about her past relationships, and I was telling her mine. Mind you, we already established this isn't anything serious. This is casual. And it was kind of a very mature, upfront way of just being together. And I remember, and at the same token, when we kind of let go of those barriers, it gave us the permission to just be honest with each other, which was really good too. And she was telling me about how, you know, she's older now and she's thinking about, like, she's got to find the right guy and stuff. And obviously it's not going to be me because we established what this was. And I remember saying to her, well, that's why you picked me, because you know it's not going to go anywhere. And she smiled and said, you're a lot smarter than your age. And those are the things that it's easy for me to observe with her, because I like thinking about these things socially, and because sometimes we do these things. We just have fun, but we pretend, oh no, but I'm still being serious. I'm trying to look for the one. No, be honest. You're having fun. And then you're free of any delusions and you can live your life engaged with reality. And then if you find somebody that's serious worthy, or you're tired of the casual, then you can make a conscious decision and you know where you are rather than being led. You know what? Decaffeinated coffee's come a long way. It tastes really good. I can't tell the difference. I really can't. I meant reality TV. The reason you can't consume it because on some level, if you consume reality TV, you start to develop a personal relate. Okay. I mean, everything I just said still makes sense and matters, and I think it's true. But in this context, yeah, any entertainment you consume, once you start connecting with it, it informs you. Don't fool yourself. I've said it's not just the 5 people in your life are the ones that condition you. You are the 5 closest people in your life. You are also the 5 closest YouTube channels that you watch every day, or genre of Netflix movies or series that you habitually watch. If you're always listening to Rammstein, you're always just hooking up with random people with daddy issues or whatever it is, and you got this kind of aggressive foot gas pedal to the floor, go fast, adrenalize your life. If that's your life, but you say, you know what, I want to settle down, and I just want someone who understands me. I don't want to fight with anyone. It's like bullshit. Come on, man. Just be honest about what you like. You like what you like. And it was the same thing when I came across women that said, I've just gone out with bad boys and I'm into this and I'm into that, but I just really want a nice guy. And I think, no, you don't. You don't want me. You want me to do the heavy lifting, to drag you out of it, and you're going to fight me all the way. I'm not your guy. You're going to make my life hell. I'm going to make your life hell. Until you come to to terms with, in a jumping in cold water sense of, I'm done with that. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to sober up. I want to be the person I keep speaking about. Then it's not going to happen. I'm not going to save you. The government's not going to save you. The system's not going to save you. You will. But, yeah, good point. Good point. People are lying to themselves and others. True. My overthinking is something I am currently focusing on attacking. Ooh, attacking. Pay attention to your the way you speak to yourself. I've said this before. See, it pops up when I read it in other people's lexicon when they write or when they speak. But a lot of times when they write, this is why I say journal, not for some airy-fairy bullshit like I'm grateful for blah-de-blah and all that other fluff, right? But it's a great way to actually look at the language with which you speak in your head, because that's how the language you speak in your head, how you talk to yourself, informs how you feel as a result of that language, that person speaking, which is a part of you. Unless you can revise the grammar and modify that, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. So I always encourage people to write, not just to speak better, but to speak better and think better about themselves. Because sometimes you see the way you write, and this is what happened when I started really writing and journaling to get my thoughts, get everything out, get the herd of cats out of my head. Then I started to see, whoa, attacking, hate myself, like all these words, like I wrote that. I wrote that in the flow of consciousness. That's what's at the heart of me. Anyway, he continues, I have to accept that it has value in moderation. It is exhausting, but if you can embrace that price, you can see the value. Yeah, I would say you have to find clear lines where you're fighting your battles. Really, no, there's basically a line where you don't care about stuff that's not important and you really do care about stuff that is. One thing I found is that I have to switch my overthinking and intellect when it's got to do with people in reality. You have to learn to switch off your golden goose, your prize of being clever and smart, because I like language. I pride myself on my speech and thinking and clarity and things like that, but it can kick me in the ass because I can convince myself of anything. I can feel good about dominating conversations because people are listening to my lexicon and how I deliver things and whatever. And I can get carried away with winning a debate. But I think overthinking, you have to switch it off and just deal in real time with the person on their level, but still communicate as yourself. So the trick is to not stay in your head unless it's necessary. So overthinking and staying in your head is great when you're writing, when you're creating, when you're listening, actually actively listening, processing, thinking about things, and then delivering it again. But try and stay in real time as much as possible. Most of the time we overthink and our brains are attached to the past and the future. We're overthinking and we're feeling miserable and regret and whatever about the past. That's where we overthink. And then we also overthink and fear the future a lot. And there's too much of our thinking goes along there. Focus your thinking on now. How you're speaking. Are you being fair? Are they listening to you? Are you listening to them? Things like that. That is where I would say thinking is a good thing, or even overthinking is a good thing. I know in the header of my YouTube channel, I say I'm a person that likes to overthink things, but I've tried my best not to overthink the past and the future. The overthinking is an active real-time thing I do with the person in front of me, with the thing I'm doing, with this, doing streams help that. Moonshot says, it's a bit like a workplace. Many just continuously complain and let it consume them. I've realized it's not worth it. Just clock in and clock out. Yeah. Don't waste your time with people who are intentionally obtuse and who are intentionally just wanting to stay where they are. You're not their parent. Let's read some more of those comments. In relation to this question, what bothers people? Getting everything you thought you wanted and dreaming about the alternative long-term contentment is hard to find. Yeah, that's interesting. You design your life, you get everything you want, and then it's not what you want. I've been there. I've talked about it many times in my early 40s when I left my job. I had everything on paper that I should be happy about, and I wasn't upset about anything, but my world felt like it was in black and white. I wanted a color movie, and it just felt like people saw my my life in color, but I didn't. It was like, yeah, I've got this, I've got that, I've got a girl, I've got a car, I've got this, I've got no worries, I've arrived. But why do I feel like I haven't? Why do I feel like I'm living someone else's? Why do I feel like that scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt says, I went to college, now what, Dad? Get married, now what, Dad? And I felt like that. I'd done all these things. I mean, I knew I didn't want to have kids and at that point get married because I didn't know how much it had to do with the person you're with. And also, marriage for me isn't a religious thing. It's a symbolic thing. But aside from that, I always knew I didn't want to have kids. So it's like, what's the point of getting married? So that was a definite no, kids. But everything else, I kind of like, yeah, that seems good. Money, buying stuff, going places, doing what you want, having freedom. Yeah, okay, let me get all those things. And I did them all on other people's terms because I didn't really know what I wanted. So you just need to take as long as it takes. But if you're not honest with yourself, it's going to take forever. You're going to be a guy who's older than me. And there are some people online here who have channels that they just scream at the world. And, all their hair is white, if they have any left. And they go to the doctors every week. And they're in the winter years of their life. And they're still screaming at the world. They're as stubborn as a 3-year-old. And there's nothing you can do with someone who's chained themselves to that position. But overthinking, yeah, it is a trap. You've got to learn when to use it. Just because it's a brilliant tool you might have and you love intellect and you read and literature and beautiful speech and a great story in a movie, I get it. I know where you're coming from. But also have the intelligence of knowing when to deploy it and when it's when intellect and overthinking is absolutely the worst tool for the current job that you're in, like when you're talking to people. I mean, do you think I talk like this to a Serbian grandparent who visits my family, and I need to modify my language and communicate my thoughts in in a normal pedestrian manner. If you're intelligent, you'll know how to adapt, which is another marker of intelligence. Sure, while it is absolutely important to make note of the language we use in our internal dialogue, we shouldn't identify it. We are not our thoughts. No. Thinking isn't who you are. Thinking is a process. And if you've got a dialogue in your head that's very negative towards yourself, if it's a bad friend, then you've got to fix that so you can think better. Some experts say our inner critic is composed of external voices that we have internalized. Yeah, I could see that being a very logical conclusion to come up with. Yeah. Where did that come from? You know? Or Rammstein have some night. Yeah, I guess. I associate Rammstein with one of my exes that I'd rather forget. She was a very evasive, traumatized person that refused to admit it. Yeah, she was a bit of a mess. It's called behave, be civil, have some decorum. Yeah. And also, if you do act civilized, you're forced to be responsible. There's nowhere to hide. You can't gaslight yourself or others because people recognize that language. They're not used to that. You stick out. But I think today online and everywhere, everyone's used to the game. So I've talked endlessly about the games women play, and it's supposed to be normal. When a woman does this, she means this. When she says this, it means that. It's like, what about just saying what you mean and doing what you mean and being direct? Oh, you can't do that. You'll never get a girl like that. No one wants that. It's like, well, then stop complaining. It doesn't make sense. You're complaining about the problems that your methods actually produce. All right. Actually, I have to pull it down that side. See? It's all back to front. See? This side, no, see? That side's down. And if my screen's rotated, my monitor, I don't know how to do it. I should actually look. Yeah, I have to do the opposite end. Anyway. All right. Prince Revolver says, what bothers me is losing romantic and platonic relationships because people in my life care more about the political relationships instead of the personal ones. Ah, dude, I hear you. You get in social gatherings with normies, and you know it's great to be social, but sometimes all they talk about is either kids and the family life that they're in, which is fair enough. That's all they've got. I can't pretend that they're going to talk about what I want if they don't live my life and have my interests. But when they just go on and on about the politics and all these external things that have nothing to do with their own lives, and they talk about it passionately as though it's their child, as though it's like a bad diagnosis from a doctor that's like they've only got a year to live. They're just so passionate about just political entertainment and stuff we have no control over, and it's probably bullshit, and it's probably all Machiavellian anyway. It bores me very quickly, but they think they're being intelligent. Anyway, complaining also bores me, more so the complaining I do to myself in my head. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but as I just said a little while ago, the more you can be aware of it, modify your language internally, how you speak, make everything clean, as Jordan Peterson mentioned, clean your room internally, and lead by the ethics that you're so proud to voice and write about in comment section. Try and just take baby steps at least towards that person. Do what you say, and try and face your fears and all that kind of low level, low resolution, yet helpful self-help stuff. It does work. It does a lot more than knowing every detail of politics. And you know all this stuff, and you've got a news feed of politics every morning. You get fear. Oh, did you see what such and such did? And did you see what this country is doing and that country's doing? It's okay, interesting. But you have an intravenous drip to this stuff, and I just don't understand it. Boffin says, what bothers me is the dearth of mature, well-adjusted, congenial adults in the world. I think they're on the endangered species list. Yeah. The entertainment they consume today, you just look at posts, they're getting the age level, the academic age level of not just the grammar, but the thought put through it and what people find entertaining and what they find attractive is just more and more and more juvenile. It's just going down and down and down. By how the posts are written, the grammar's terrible. You look at someone who can't even spell the sentence or the title in their post, and they've got millions of subscribers. They're living in an gated community as an 18-year-old YouTuber with 5 Ferraris in the thing, and yeah, I can't blame them. They feel powerful and they can do anything and they can talk any way they want. I get it, but just the quality of communication and the quality of civilized intelligence in the way people communicate and the content. It's just, I might make a video on this as well about kind of art and entertainment. It's not just movies, but you can just see that the algorithm getting people's attention, the algorithm doesn't care about quality. The algorithm just cares that, controversy gets so many consistent views and sharing more than the calm intellect of just a stable life conversation. And okay, this is the answer. It's not a herd of cats fighting each other for the answer. It's actually this one thing is the right thing. That doesn't get views. No one cares. It's not entertaining. It's not well packaged. Advertisers won't advertise. So all the drama is the stuff that people are getting conditioned by. And as such, mature, well-adjusted, congenial people are less and less because you need to be conditioned by maturity, well-adjusted other people, congeniality, and things like that. And that is not the entertainment. People don't read. People don't care about watching good movies. I watch movies now, and however good they look, I just noticed that the story of most movies is not important. And with the audience of today, it isn't. Objectively, it isn't important. You just need a basic story from A to B. That's it. No connoisseurship throughout it. When you do introduce that kind of intricate story, multi-layered, intelligent writing through a story, those movies are awesome. Like, say, recently, Top Gun Maverick. You can have bells and whistles with a great story, great characters and things like that. People love the movie, but they don't know why they love it. They don't know why it was a box office hit. But it's good enough just to have a lot of the action, the surface level, the window dressing, and just have a basic story from A to B, because that takes care of 90% of people wanting to watch it. But you won't get to love it. It won't be art. So it is a shame. I agree with you, Boffin. But again, we're old and we remember the time before social media and the internet. So the anime, manga, and visual novels industry and the online communities that defend them. So you've got a problem with anime, manga, and visual novels. Well, I'm not on your side there because I love graphic novels, comic books, illustration, and all those things. And I love some manga and anime. But yeah, the online communities are a bunch of spurgs. The majority of a lot of shut-ins and weirdos, and there's a lot of overlap with the woke side of things. But yeah, the communities that defend anime, manga, and visual novels, I don't know about that. T-Dog, how are you, dude? He says, I struggle with chronic health issues and it's really affected my motivation to be proactive. I worked hard to create a lot of freedom in my life, and although I treasure it, to be honest, there seems to be a lack of meaning somewhat. I don't really get lonely, but a solo life can be isolating if you don't make a constant effort to connect. Everyone seems dreams of outrunning their problems. That's a good way of putting it. But you have to have something to run towards. That is a brilliant line. I think it's why some older people struggle when they retire. That is a really good line, T-Dog. Everyone dreams of outrunning their problems, but you have to have something to run towards. Yeah. And I don't think people know themselves enough to have a clear footing to run towards anything with any conviction or clarity. Well said. Let's pin that comment. Raisin Dragon says, since I came back from vacation, I'm pushing the same case files from the end of my desk to the other, but I can't seem to progress. I go to work with a clear intent of finally getting around to finish them, but at the end of the day, they are still there unfinished, frustrating, and it leaves me asking if I am as in as much control as my actions as I think I am. I aim for you are, however, most hate their jobs, so what your experience is in normal. It could mean that you're not doing something that's fulfilling to you. Unfortunately, 9% of people end up doing these things they hate. The other side is where I am. I have a high-paying job at multiple businesses okay. Thanks for the help, dude. Nice flex in industry I like and enjoy. However, the work and sacrifice needed most won't do. Sure, but some people don't, again, they don't know what to aim for. And yeah, once you get a taste of something that is you, what clicks with you, I get it. But yeah, most people won't even aim themselves towards their dreams. If you don't know, that's one thing. But if you know and you can't, the trick and the struggle is finding that lever that will make you try and roll down that hill and eventually keep going. Melee says, what bothers me is an interesting question. From an observational perspective, many of us suffer unnecessarily in this world, and it doesn't have to be this way. I would say maturity is a big one overall. We all don't have to agree with one another, but we can also be respectful towards one another. Yeah, the maturity, and connected to what Boffin mentioned before, it's kind of a sad thing that intellect and maturity is dying, because we want to find somebody. I can attest to, when you find someone you're compatible with, it's just this really nice ambience of having a person that's compatible to you, that you connect with and that you care about. And now that's like with intellect, and you can't even communicate to find out if you're compatible with a person. How are you supposed to find out? When language and everything is degraded, you're censored, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't be honest, whatever. And it's like, okay, you just play the strategy of being polite in a politically correct way. And then it's just going to be more and more sad people who don't connect, who are together, who just say the politically right thing. And it's even harder to get along and to find somebody. It's not really a nice part. I wish I saw luck, but I'm saying that a lot of my audience, like Melee, intelligent, great guys, great catches for women, and not just boasting, but objectively, we've got our shit together, unlike the majority of people out there, and still they act like they're celebrities and we're fans asking for an autograph. And not to mention that is that you can't even talk to them. So you're the person that has it all, aside from $1 million, but you have everything that's important in terms of values, right? And it's effectively like everyone thinks they're Kim Kardashian, can't even string a sentence together, but they think they're royalty. You know, and it's men and women both. The guys out there posturing, going to the gym, wearing big beards and trying to act tough, tattoos and all this, and they can't even talk. And every single at the end of every single sentence is bro, 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 dude, bro, bro, bro. It's very, very hard. The maturity and intellect is dissipating, and it's going to be that much harder because without maturity and intellect and really clear and honest speech, and people willing to be clear and honest speech because they want to be mature, they want to speak better, you're just going to get dumber people, and people will say, well, I'm tired of being alone, I'll just take the best of the trash that's out there. And more people are just accepting the best of the trash that's out there. You know, you don't You don't get with a chick because she's better than all the shit out there. You get with someone that is, without, you don't have to say she's better than the trash out there. But even if she's fine and okay and polite, she also has to be connected to you and compatible with you. She has to be an individual that fits with you. And if you haven't got the bridge of maturity, civility, and intellect to really know, in a safe, secure sense, I know why I'm with her. I know why I love her. I know why I'm marrying her if you want to. I know why she's going to be the mother of my kids. That is a position of sovereignty, clarity, power, whatever you want to call it. It's like you're good. And whatever people shame you at, I don't care. I don't care about your laughing and smirking and shame. It doesn't bother me. Stay in your dumpster fire complaining about the Kardashians and politics and Donald Trump and all that. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I've curated my world and I know how I've done it. I know how I'm maintaining it. Knowing why you like things, how you speak, how you think, having a sense of confidence about that, knowing with clarity and having an answer to everyone else who wants to challenge you and shame you, there's nothing better than that because you know what your life's about. You sleep better at night and it's not delusion. You know, all these people, like, they're too smart for their own good. And sometimes, oh, well, you know, it's because of the system. It's like, no, it's like you're not putting enough effort into the tactile part of your life and getting out there and not thinking that every single person is a villain because that makes life simpler for you. Anyway. Really? Well, I wouldn't agree with that. Let me see. Have I read this? Oh, I can relate to this. My mother trained me not to be satisfied with too little. I rebelled in a way. I don't blame her because it was training she received herself. I was trained by my family to appreciate the little things, which is really great for clarity. But at the same time, I would have liked the balance of courage to go for, bigger things, not to just kind of stop at the minimal, which is great, appreciating the weekend, your own space and time and that. But a little bit of that goes towards not wanting to earn money, not seeing the point of getting a Ferrari if you really want it. You can talk yourself out of it because your core belief is very, very simple and very, very minimal. So I think now that I'm older, I would have wanted more of a push towards wanting more. I enjoy the base of appreciating the simplicity of life. But I think it would have helped me in my life with women and bosses and things like that, where I was fairly quiet, inert, and I just kind of stoically ghosted all of them because I knew I was doing the right thing, which I was, but I would have known how to play in their world on my own terms a bit better. Moonshot says, being direct is the best way to be. We tend to be quite passive today. Maybe it's the internet. Yeah. People are tough on the internet. They feel like they're doing on the internet. Isn't that a Prince song? Maybe it's just like my mother. She's never said, yeah, maybe you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. I got a terrible voice. What do you think of this microphone, by the way? Very basic. Very simple. It's a stage mic, but it's a very good one. Lewitt 550DM. It's a bit pricey. I don't think it's the most expensive mic I've got. No. But it is objectively the best sounding, clear mic with one of the lowest amounts of self-noise. So, yeah, in terms of just really good quality, and this thing, you could run over this with a tank and it would survive. Anyway, one for the nerds out there who give a shit. Yeah, hit the thumbs button. I heard Briberian. My brother told me the F1 movie is really good. I got to see it. He's usually a good judge of action movies. Him and I grew up with Rambo, Predator, Arnold, Terminator, all those things. I'm a child of the 80s. He's a child of the 90s, but we all share the cheesy action movie genre. I think it's kind of like if you're a guy and you don't like Predator, I don't know how much I have in common with you, how much we can kind of align with our beliefs and values. Well, one thing with AI I wouldn't say no to is if it's really good now at looking real, is that they do a actual Predator Part 2 with Arnold and all those characters again, if they can. I know most of them passed away in the movie. They died in the film, but that would be really good. How can you not watch it? Even if you're kind of like, I won't watch it on principle. I'll watch the pirated version. That's what I'll do. After 40, I find it hard to deal with as immaturity in people. Yeah. Yeah, which green? I've got a few Bugattis that are green. Which color green? Big ol'. All right, more comments. Let's go back to the comments. The Gulf of Mexico says, lately I have experienced difficulty expressing myself verbally. I'm looking for words, mispronouncing things, or am just too tired to speak. It's on and off though. Sometimes speaking goes fluently without problems, but this bothers me. It often makes me not want to speak at all. Is it age? Is it fatigue, stress? Don't know. I get this sometimes too. Make sure if you're not around people where you can have conversations that you want, you're not going to kind of lubricate your sort of vocabulary in the way and like speak with enthusiasm and find those words. If you're just in a zombie way kind of turning up and saying words in social surroundings or in work functions because you want to make noises that let them know what you're thinking and doing, you need to be around people that have conversations that you're interested in where you can use the vocabulary that will come from enthusiasm, if that makes sense. So I have that problem sometimes too. I've noticed this in the last couple of years, and a lot of the spurgs out there will think what they can think, but I've become, because I'm married and Stephanie's just a simple, nice girl, I don't have these high-level, in-depth male philosophical discussions with her. I do on a certain level, but when I want to go really deep, I have to write, I have to make videos, I have to engage with some of you guys in chats or whatever, if I really want to, you know, let my vocabulary and lexicon flourish. And to keep that up, you just need to have conversations and practice. That's all it is. It's you have to practice the vocabulary that's atrophying. And while I'm speaking now, I'm trying to kind of generate and do that because I can. I'm speaking to you guys who I'm assuming have a sort of level of intelligence to be able to like my videos and listen to this stream. But it is something about getting older as well. But why I touched on being married is that I've worked out so many of my problems. I care about so little now. I'm less afraid that I'm not fighting anymore. And a lot of my vocabulary came from fighting and defending myself to people and defending my beliefs. I don't have to defend anything anymore. I don't give a shit. That's the beauty of getting older. The other thing is that the polish of your vocabulary goes if you don't keep it up, but you have to have good conversations. So I hope that kind of helped and explained, because I can relate to that a little bit too. Olcott says, projection is the worst trait of humans. Many refuse to accept we have very different goals, preferences, and boundaries. Sure. Silva says, other people telling me how to feel. Yeah, I hate that too. I really do. It's like you explain to them, okay, I understand why you're saying that, but And then you explain why you specifically feel the way you do. And it's almost like they just disregard it. It's like, yeah, but you need to feel this way. You just need to. You just need to be confident. You just need to get out there. You just need to start a business. You just need to, it's like, why don't you just take your needs and shove them in that direction? He continues, such as when I just go up and haven't done or said anything, I'm well rested and looking forward to a good something. Then someone says, you're grumpy. I say I'm not. And they respond, you sure sound grumpy. The more I protest, the more they insist. Then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't say somebody to be passive-aggressive either. Mostly it is women, but occasionally it is a guy. Why do people want me to be grumpy? It seems so pointless. Look, women like drama, but I don't think they're that Machiavellianly intelligent to play that chess game, but they just like poking. Women like poking the bear. But if they don't understand you, if you're not saying anything, people who aren't comfortable with silence, and it's a lot of these outgoing, extroverted people who like reality TV, they don't stay in their head, they stay outside with the drama because there's a lot of drama going in their heads, inside their heads. They don't like who they are, they don't like the dialogue in their head, so they avoid it and they stay out here. And so when they see you comfortable in your own head, in silence, they don't like it. And sometimes people are just passive-aggressive of ways of breaking the ice and starting conversations. I'm not saying it's correct, but some people are like that. I've got one or two people in my life that every time you see them, they love making fun of you and poking little jabs at you as a way of just being funny, you know? Because I've been semi-retired for 10 years now. I only work 3 days a week. And some people I know, they work very hard and good for them. And sometimes it's like, hey, Bob, how you going? Still bludging, still not working, still living the easy life. And you could tell they mean it like a bit of a, still being a lazy SOB, kind of like, all right. So some people are just, that's the way they are, their personality. And it doesn't bother me that much, but you got some people like that, they just want to. I laugh because I remember whether it was exes or some family members in the past, not really family members, but friends, particularly exes and women and people I don't know, that they see you just silent and they love that kind of drama, passive-aggressive way of engaging in an argument where you have to defend yourself. And then all of a sudden, conversations happen because you're defending yourself. You know when you hear people, they haven't seen each other? Hello, stranger. What do you mean? Like, and then you start defending, and then you get into a conversation. I didn't mean that. And then all of a sudden you're talking. So it's a way of brute forcing a conversation in a very passive aggressive, childish way. And it's mostly for people who don't like being alone, don't like staying in their heads, don't like being silent. Bullshit questions like this. Well, unsubscribe, dude. I don't care. Rocket says, snarky, cowardly, backstabbing comments like this from punks who won't say it to my face outside the bar. If it was a bullshit question, why even give me the energy of your fingers typing this out? Seriously. I aim for greatness. Really? If I'm honest, life. That's very broad. I used to hate life because of the system the elites and the unfolding fathers put in places in America. However, after finding myself amongst other things, everything changed, and now I've come to appreciate the history of America and the system that's in place. I'm glad America provides the opportunity to meet and deal with spiritual, highly successful people. Not a billionaire. Not all billionaires are bad people. Some actually give back and help others. True. However, that's a very fine line. Okay, but you didn't answer my question. I asked, what bothers you personally, not politically. That's all political. But I do agree with you. All that stuff matters. And not everyone rich is an arsehole. A lot of people, they want you to think that. So we fight amongst ourselves and we don't fight them. That's true. But again, how are you going to change? How is your attitude going to change? Even if you live in a poor community, how is your attitude going to change so your life's better? Hikido Dachi says, people accepting subpar outcomes, just accepting the way it is, or not even trying to be a little better each day. We live in an age of information abundance. It would be great if people read some more, or even listened to insightful podcasts and thought about things. People could telling me their problems and then do nothing. Yes. Yeah, that's just the norm. You are a rare person who might complain and talk, and then you go to solutions. They don't like that. Most people today online, because of the media, and we relate to each other through complaining and drama and all that, solutions don't track. Solutions don't get ads. Solutions don't keep people coming back. Imagine, think about it logically, empirically. You make a video that talks about exactly the right way to do things, and it's done. No one's going to return to your channel because that's the solution. But if you keep engaging in loop complaining, victimhood, blaming the system, it's just a never-ending smorgasbord of circular discussions that come back next week and we'll complain again. Sharpen your memes, because next week we can repeat them. Winston Weasel says, I'm working in the field of online marketing. And there is a lot of change, not only when it comes to AI search, but also with AI replacing a lot of work. I'm not so into working with AI agents. Yeah, I don't think you or anyone else is either. Innovative is supposed to displace many. Actually, I believe back in the day on the barter system, everyone didn't need to work to live. However, we needed to create something. So money, here we go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like everything else, we just need to make sure we adapt and grow, because I made sure I did. Is this the same guy that was saying how rich he was and fulfilled before? Aim for greatness. Okay. Yeah, it was. I get you. I get the impulse. But anyway. Okay. Okay, yeah, watch the latest videos if you're interested. I like the way this video, worst advice for introverts, I like the way it turned out. Really nice. I pushed this camera to the max. I filmed it in like 7K, nearly 8K. No, it wasn't. It was actually OpenGate's 5.7K, I think. Anyway, I can't remember. But I filmed in OpenGate max resolution, which was huge. And I think it turned out really good. I used the whole sensor of the camera, and you can really tell when you watch this video that you can't actually get that image, that clarity of image on any other camera unless your camera can do OpenGate, which is why I love the GH7. Anyway, enough gushing about this little beast. All right, back with my STP cap that Peg and everyone seems to like. Let's see. Let's go for some of the comments. Hi from California. How are you? Okay, let me read some of these comments. Yes, hit the like button. Yeah, when stupidity and idiocracy become commonplace and normalized, those who abide by common sense and reason become the odd ones, like the nail that sticks out. That's true. You do stick out. And what do? It's like you're a building that's a bit taller. People knock you down to their level. Because they don't know and they don't want to build themselves up. I want a cap now. I don't know what that cap is. Okay. Barbarian. Holy movie trinity. Predator, 1987. Yes. Aliens, 1986. Yes. You're my man, Barbarian. The Thing, 1982. Yeah, I like that too. I do like that very much. But those two movies, Predators and Aliens, I would say Aliens is the movie I've seen the most. Do you know when it came out in 1986? It's the only movie I've gone to see multiple times in the cinema. Not by a little, by a long shot. I think I've seen one or two movies in the past twice. I saw it with one friend, then I went to see it with someone else because I liked it. And yeah, sure, why not? It's a really good movie. Aliens, I just went to see it as many times as I could before it went out of the cinema. I think I saw it 7 or 8 times in the cinema. And I've seen it countless of other times. So just by the amount of times I've watched it, and I love that film, it never gets old, I'd say Aliens is probably James Cameron's Aliens Part 2 is probably my favorite. It has everything. It's awesome. But Predator, yeah. That's a film that I think only guys can understand to that kind of level. Now, I've been with women who like it. Like Stephanie watched it, she liked it. But I think guys are like, it's got a place in their heart. But Aliens, yeah. That is an awesome film. You know which movies I've been rewatching over and over again? I don't know why. The Tomorrow War. I don't know why. There's something about that movie I really like. Right. Okay. Across says, I told you before, you're happy with her. She makes you happy. She's not causing you suffering. Fuck the rest. You don't need to be two sides of the same coin. The whole soulmate thing is BS, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Compatibility doesn't mean they're a mirror to you. Your values have to mirror each other. But, yeah, you don't need to. She likes strawberry. I like chocolate. Who gives a shit? She likes these movies. I don't. One big thing I noticed, Stephanie takes responsibility. She actually tries. You could just see her trying with her words and her actions to make me happy, be better, take our relationship seriously, tell me what she means. She's never said one thing and means another. The clarity of who she is, how she presents herself, and how she tries, it's something very rare. Most people hide behind insecurity and they're too scared. They want to, but they just can't say the words, and they're afraid of the other person, what'll happen. They'll leave. They'll think this of them. They'll think that. Yeah. And look, we've all of us have got our own problems, but there's something really beautiful when someone has the courage just to be themselves, and to be themselves openly to you as well, to tell you, yeah, I like you and I want this and I'm going to do this and you can trust me. And they just continually reaffirm that they're not lying. They never give you a reason to doubt them, because every time your doubt is squashed because they're consistent and they mean what they say every single time. So when people say, well, you never know what will happen in the future, Bobby, she could do this, she could leave you, she could, like, okay, statistically, I'll give you a small sliver, but you don't know her and our life. And I think the people, they just are beholden to the statistics, that they never trust themselves enough to be with someone to really know that this person would never do it. It's like someone saying, well, my brother, if I handed him $1,000, could just take it and run and disown me and treat me like a piece of shit. And it's like, statistically, yeah, okay, I'll give it to you, but really, like, it's not going to happen. I trust my brother. There's enough time, consistency, and experience that I know his character. For him to go outside his personality that I know him for would be like, what, did he hit his head? What happened? So, yeah, some people are beholden to, yeah, but it could, as though that swallows the whole argument. That's not reality. And people don't want to talk in that area of common sense, experience, time, patience, meaning what you say. Not just complaining that men or women aren't like this, actually being that and looking for someone else who also lives by those things too. You don't, as a guy, make yourself the best guy and then think, well, I'm good. I'm strong and clear about my values and virtues. I can still go out with bimbos and I can carry that load. I can change her. I can teach her to be better. No. Intelligence doesn't equal happiness, especially not when intelligent people get a dose of life experience. Yeah. Yeah, look at Elon Musk. He's very intelligent. He's got like 10 kids from like 5 different wives or something. He's not very good socially. People would say he's not a very good father, but silence makes people uneasy sometimes because they imagine plotting of some sort they perhaps see play. Yeah. And so they kind of poke the bear with that kind of passive aggressive language to create some sort of drama. Thanks for the super chat, Shadow Ghost. I very much appreciate it. He says, what bothers me a lot of the time when I phone a mate, it's for something. When I phone a mate, it's for something, mostly information. However, I do this on purpose. It's kind of a conversation starter for me that has some depth rather than the old, how are you? Yeah. Guys don't have much of a problem with being direct and like, oh, dude, you'll say hello and you'll quickly get into why you called them. But yeah, with relationships, especially romantic ones, it's almost like you don't want to seem like you're being direct. You want to have this ambience of like, I'm just drawn to you. And oh, by the way, before I go, can I borrow a plate? Whereas that was the reason you called them. But you don't want them to think that. It's just stupid. I would say, hey, how you going? Before I forget, I called to borrow a plate. But get that over with. And then you can just keep talking. Space Cowboy says, I think a major issue with teaching today is constantly trying to reinvent the wheel. We sweep away basic teaching in the past that have a proven track record. Oh, yeah, exactly. Everyone's so clever that, like, why change something that's not broken? I understand advancement in technology. I understand making something that's better, but not let's just theorize a way of being together, a way of men and women acting or whatever, and just completely shame the past that worked. No, let's add it on top. If it's so good, you should be able to add it on top or make it an attractive alternative and people can choose. But don't say, no, you have to do it this woke way and we have to shame a woman who just wants to be a mother or if you've got traditional values. Why? If your idea is so good, it should stand on its own 2 feet. Why do we have to have more diversity or more women in these positions? Don't stop them. But okay, have your women-only companies. And some people tried and they tanked. You don't get rid of the past. The past is proof of what works. The past is confidence too. That's how you get confidence in your own life. You do things in the past that worked and you got the confidence to keep doing them and knowing yourself in that way. But if you constantly rewrite yourself, you're always demoralizing yourself because you're always rewriting your present because you've got a clever idea and you want to stand out. Oh, my new theory for productivity. The 5 things I learned to hack the system. Really, genius? Isn't this kind of normal? I mean, even I do that sometimes as a means of interacting, engage with more with a friend I haven't met in a while. I think so. I just hope that they don't think I only phone is when I don't think so. If you're on good terms with your friends as a guy, I've never experienced it. You know your friends, and so when they ask you for something, you don't act in that kind of you don't act as though you're talking to a female. You know, when a friend calls me, I don't go, hey, stranger. It's less the silence and more being stuck in one's head. At times I'm silent, even if I am completely open to engagement in a crowded room. It's an energy people are less defensive too. Yeah. And also there's this unquantifiable thing of sometimes you're in one mood and sometimes you're in another mood. Sometimes I'm in a very relaxed, confident mood, much more confident than I usually am. I don't have to warm up and I just feel 10 feet tall walking into some place that normally is not really for me. And other places I'm more my usual baseline. So it depends on how you feel. And sometimes like your energy level and your headspace is very different from yesterday and you can't explain it. Human, I've recently started watching a show, Lord of Mysteries, and there was an old character there that said a thing that's a motto of his, but it resonated. Do as you wish, but do no harm. Yeah, that's a good one. To yourself or others. Yeah, makes sense. But the thing is, if you do as you wish without any harm to yourself or others, you end up doing the right thing. So that's a good one, actually. Yeah, that's true. Zaman, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, I'm in my 50s now and realizing that I'm going to have to give up on some things that I enjoy and my body's slowly breaking down. Scares me. Yeah, I know. I feel you, man. I still go to the gym, keep in shape, and sometimes I just have a sore back for no reason. And it's not because of the gym. It was just waking up and sleeping the wrong way. And I noticed I didn't feel this way before. It's not nice, but that's the way it is. It sucks. All right. Any further? Oh, thanks for the 10 gift memberships per Kia. And for the super chat. I appreciate it, dude. Did you just make 10 people suffer? Suffer human and suffer legend, Luke, Chad, Caesar, evil, terrified monk, Hoveth the god, Thiego, aimbot. All right. John. All right. Oh. Predator, Commando. Yeah, Commando was pretty good too. Jenny. Total Recall. Yeah, that was good. Terminator. I liked it, but I don't like it as much as everyone puts it on a pedestal. It was very different. James Cameron's first movie that showed he's awesome. Any movie he made after that, you're just going to watch it. And then he made Aliens after Terminator. Arnold's best movies, The Kindergarten Cop. That was good too. But yeah, Commander, Predator. I feel like binging them today, but I can't. I've got a few things to do. Got to return a whole bunch of library books. Remember those people? Library books. I've got about 6 I've got to return. I've got to go to the gym. And yeah, there's something else. I've written it on my board. That is not true. My dad, the joke was we'd all as a family, if we were out somewhere, we'd go into one of those 31 flavors places, you know, those ice cream parlors, and they'd have all these flavors, and we'd be like, oh, give me some of that, give me some of that. Dad would always just give me a vanilla. And we'd be, Dad, you can get anything. No, vanilla. You just want vanilla, and that's it. My dad knew himself. His favorite saying when he said something was, no. He knew exactly what he wanted. Yeah, all of Disney movies today are tank. Unless they've got someone like Jon Favreau doing The Mandalorian. It's usually shit. Yeah, it seems like it. Melee, if you don't hurt anyone, they'll see you as weak and try to take advantage of you. If you don't hurt them. Really? Oh, they might be kind of people, like there's some chicks that love the bad boy. They want the kind of, they got that kind of hybristophilic attraction to drama. I have a problem with checking out library books. I perhaps know deep down I will not make time to read. Yeah, well, these books I've gotten, you can renew them, I think, in 3 or 4 times, and after the third time, there's no more. You have to return them. You've only got 3 renewals. And I've gotten to my third one, and I've only, I think, read 1 book. And most of the books I buy aren't actual novels. They're, non-fiction, how-to, art, graphic novels, short stories, things like that. Stuff that I can extract information, and usually art-related, design-related stuff. So, but yeah, if I was reading novels, it would be, I'd have to be an avid reader to try and read a book a week if I could. That's one thing I've got to do more of, is read books. I keep buying these books that I see on special, and then, oh yeah, that book, that's on my bucket list, and I buy it if it's on special. And, things that you haven't read, like I've got Brave New World, Animal Farm. I've got the classics, the literary classics, and they're sitting on the shelf, and I'm content knowing that I've got them there, but will I read them? The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I started reading that, and then stopped partway through the first third of the book. And it's been a few years that I need to reread it again, but I know it's a book I'll enjoy. I think Coltrane, it's one of his favorite books. He was the one that made me look at it. So, wonder what Coltrane's doing. Wonder what Stardust is doing. Yes. There's a scene in Predator, after they hit the camp near the start, at the end of the first act, when they hit when they hit the camp, and they blow it up and everything, knock knock, and they blow up the camp and everything. And then when he's screaming during that fight for the chopper, he says, "Get on the comm something." Try and understand what Arnold says when he's screaming out of that hut window to one of his teammates. I bet you won't understand what he says. My brother had to download the script of Predator and find that section to see what Arnold was trying to mumble his way through. And it's hilarious. Go find that section and find the script and see how Arnold actually said it. It's retarded the way Arnold said it. It's not even English. Funny you said that about your dad, because that reminded me of one of my grandpa's best lines, but put in English, it would be something crudely translated like, "Guys, learn to be people." Yeah. Yeah, just be clear and honest. People like being obtusely intelligent online these days. Like, yeah, but what about this? But what is truth? As though we're magicians. Like, look at this. Look at these words. It's like, enough tricks, dude. Just say what it is. Let's have a normal yeah, but what about this? It's all very magical, as everyone's trying to show off and be clever. Kung Fu Joe says, "My nickname at work is Bad Man because I'm not a hypocrite. Everyone is evil. I'm the only one who's got the balls to admit it." Yeah, I've heard about that. Apparently, this year there's been about 6 celebrities, well-known ones, that have checked out. Yes. Well, when your friends also start passing away, There was another thing I was thinking about the other day. It's not just getting older and getting over 50. My dad passed away when I was between 49 and 50. And really, I think on his passing, I just stopped caring about bullshit. And as such, like, you stop a lot of your fight that used to inform your enthusiasm before. It's interesting. But anyway, thanks for showing up, everyone. If you've got any final questions, let's wrap this stream up, because I want to enjoy my Sunday with Steph, go to the gym, and punish myself and try and stay as healthy as I can. And yeah, so today this cap is seen as the winner. I've got this other one. I don't know if I like it or not. I bought a whole bunch on Temu. that I like the look of, that just specifically for just when I want to do work or go out there or anything like that. But I don't know about this one. But yeah, this one's cool. I look like I've lived a life when I wear this cap. Doesn't it look like, if you talk to me, like that guy's got a story? Whereas if I wear, I don't know, some gamer hat or some anime, it's like, yeah, I'm not talking to that guy. Or even if I wore this, maybe it would make you think differently. How we present ourselves matters. People like to say it's what's on the inside, but if the outside window dressing is a clown, or you're dressing like what typically people, you know, anyway. I'm blabbing. Do you hear as many clicks with this microphone? I know it's very clear, but I don't want it to pick up too much detail. Can you hear a lot of that? Big ol'. Do you have the girls at your gym wearing butt scrunch leggings? Yep. Does Steph tell you not to look? Nah. Steph wears it. Steph wears those leggings. And her butt looks pretty good as well. So, yeah, I think most girls wear it. Even the women who shouldn't be wearing it. But then some of them, it's like, well, good for you. You've got the confidence that a lot of guys don't have, I guess. I don't know. Yes. All right. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff that YouTube likes. Keep your feed. If you want to get notified of my videos and streams, interact, like, subscribe, keep doing all that stuff, leave comments, and then the AI algorithm, whatever, will know that like you are interacting with this channel. But if you just look and don't click or do anything, it may not notify you anymore. That STP makes me think you can help adjust my timing belt. Yeah, exactly. And I've got experience. I can tell you about life. Sit down, boy. Good for you. I heard it's really good. It's one of those books that I do want to read. No clicks here, as in my voice. You have good gear. Okay, cool. So you can hear that, but can you hear any clicking now when I speak, even if I'm getting really close? Can you hear the little spittles, or is it just my voice? I guess I can listen back and watch the end of this, but anyway. All right. Have a good Sunday. In Europe, it's probably the middle of the night. Why are you guys still up? Thanks for showing up. It was a good stream. Had fun. And yeah, I'll see you next week or whenever I drop a video. And for those in the US, go to bed. It's Saturday night. It's probably late. It's probably like 11 or midnight. Okay, all right. Cheers, everyone. See you, Boffin, all the regulars. Kung Fu Joe. All right. I'll catch you later. I didn't put the slide up for today. What bothers you personally? Oh well, my bad. I was having too much fun, distracted. I even did this. I'm wasting time now. All right. I am going to go. Later. Bye.